taking a peek and see if we see anything else obvious. Jeff, are you ready to go? You have some information you want to add? You want to jump in?
Yeah, that's all right.
All right, let's go over to Jeff Morrow now with more on this ongoing severe weather event around the area.
Talk about is this rotation that we're monitoring here in southern Livingston Parish. So again, this is I-12 right here. You can see what we have looks like a hook echo trying to develop an appendage here. So we're monitoring not only the radar, but also our Sky 9 camera that's in Walker. Look at the low-hanging clouds here and what looks to be kind of this scud activity here, which is these clouds that kind of get diffused from the actual lowering here. So we're looking west here from our camera that's on top of the hospital there in Walker. So we're looking towards where that storm is. So we're watching our cameras too for the possibility of rotation. Right now we don't have a funnel that we can noticeably see here with the clouds, but we are continuing to watch that very closely. But as we have these warnings that come out, we want to reiterate knowing what your safe space is and where you need to go to seek shelter. And it's the interior-most portion of your home. What you're trying to do is put as many walls between you and the exterior of your house. So it's usually a bathroom or a closet. So if a tornado warning is issued for your location, you need to go immediately to that safe space. You want to bring with you something to protect your head, usually a helmet, whether it's a bike helmet, something like that, or even a football helmet if the kids have that from practice, blankets or pillows, and you want to cover that head because of flying debris that could enter your home. So get away from windows, bottom floor of your home. If you have a multi-level apartment, multi-level office building, you want to try and get to the lowest level of those places, and if you can't get to a lower level, the centermost portion of whatever level you are on. If you are in a mobile home, best to get out. Try and find sturdier structures to seek shelter in if you are in the path of that. So let's go back to our Sky 9 camera, and again, not seeing anything of any consequence with that, but we're still monitoring this circulation. So the hospital location is right here. We're looking this way, so a little bit of some rain may be blocking our total view of the circulation that we may be trying to monitor, but we're keeping our eyes not only on the radar, but also on our many Sky 9 cameras across our viewing area to try and give you as pinpoint of a view of these spinning systems as we can. Steve, let's go back to you for just a second.
All right, Jeff, we do have some new info in from Kelly Sanchez in our newsroom, who's been following some updates from the New Iberia Police Department. We've been talking about the tornado damage down there. So some of the new information we received, South Point Boulevard subdivision has significant damage in New Iberia. They're asking people to avoid that area. That's where some people are trapped in their homes, and some of those rescue efforts are underway. The Iberia Medical Center, Dion showed you at least one picture, that suffered significant damage. There are power lines down. Some of those power lines are live, so obviously anybody in and around that area, it's best to stay where you are. You need to be extra careful when you encounter those down lines. Don't assume that they're not energized. They could be very serious danger there. And then importantly, the New Iberia Police Department saying New Iberia Senior High is the shelter to go to for anybody that may need it. But Jeff, I'm with you on this cell. That right now is along I-12 between Denham Springs and Walker. Certainly seeing fairly healthy rotation right along I-12 at this hour. No warning on it as it stands at the moment, but certainly if you're in and around Walker and eventually maybe around the town of Livingston, keep your eyes on this one. Wouldn't be surprised to see a tornado pop up out of that one at any time soon. All right, looks like we've got a flash flood warning coming out now for parts of the area. It looks like they're saying that's going to extend from Denham Springs down towards Plaquemine, where some heavy rain has also already fallen. So I'll give you a look at that once it's actually out. But that's the Weather Service giving a heads up. Another bit of good news, they're telling us now that the radar in Slidell is now back online and should be back online for the remainder of today. But boy, it's another illustration of just how crippled we can be in our coverage when we have some of these radar outages and just having this radar coverage gap that's kind of between Slidell and the next nearest radars and Lake Charles and Fort Polk. It's certainly an issue we deal with. All right, so let me come back to, we're getting an updated velocity view now, and it looks like that rotation is right about on Walker. So right there at Florida and LA 447 right now, it's nearing that general vicinity. So if you're in those areas, even though we're not under a warning, please take shelter to be safe, because that certainly looks to be some fairly healthy rotation. Let's switch over to the debris product just to see, and I'm not seeing an obvious debris signature showing up right now, but certainly some rotation. Let me sample some of the wind velocities and see what radar is detecting. Now, as I sample these, keep in mind that the radar beam from Slidell is probably a good 4,000 or 5,000 feet above ground near Walker. But as we look at this, we're getting some wind speeds on the order of 40 miles per hour or so showing up, it looks like. So nothing incredibly strong, but at minimum, some gusty winds moving in. And we're going to keep a close eye on that one to see if that rotation strengthens some more and produces a tornado.
Can you pull up Sky 9?
Okay, Jeff is saying Sky 9. All right, let's see if we can get Sky 9 up.
You got it.
Bear with me a second. Lots of graphics.
Here, let me just switch the monitor source. Hang on.
I've got it here, Jeff.
Here,
you
got it? Yeah. All right, so we're looking north now from the Walker camera. We've got some lowering here, and obviously we're blocked in with some of the rain here, but it does look like we have what could be a wall cloud, which is sort of the precursor to what we could be dealing with in terms of a tornado trying to form. So this is, again, looking north through Walker beyond that. So we're keeping our eyes on this, but it certainly does look pretty ominous.
Yeah, and that's, as you say, that wall cloud, that's kind of the rotating base of thunderstorms that we often see before a tornado is produced. So we'll keep an eye on that.
Yeah.
But you make a good point here, too. Even with some of these tornadoes, it's quite possible, as often the case in our part of the world, is that some of them could be rain wrapped.
Right.
This is all rain right here that's falling from the storm. So even if we have something within here, it can be difficult to see. Looks like maybe you're getting something new over there, Jeff. Let's take a peek at what that is coming on up. So it looks like maybe that's an update on the tornado warning for St. Tammany, Tangipahoa, and Washington Parish, saying that's going to continue.
They're saying that's an observed tornado now.
Yeah, so they're saying that's near Folsom. So even though that's a little bit outside of our area, I'll come back to radar. I know we have people that have connections and family and friends all over southeast Louisiana. That's why we've spent quite a bit of time talking about New Iberia as well. But we will move over to that storm. And again, I've got to toggle on and off some radars to make this a little easier to see. But we'll get a look at what's happening over here in Folsom, where we now have a confirmed tornado. So I'm assuming they're talking about this one that's a little bit east of Folsom. Let's see what we've got. Here we go. So that we've got two significant, what appear to be pretty significant hook echoes showing up on either side of Folsom at this hour. Oh, so it's this one that's the more pronounced. Thank you, Jeff. He's saying this is where our observed tornado is. So it's actually in eastern Tangipahoa Parish is where that would be. That one tracking up towards Franklinton, it would look like. So let's switch over to the velocity on it and see what radar is showing us in terms of the rotation. And here's our rotation. So as I say, right there in east, here's the parish line. So right here you've got St. Tammany, Washington, and Tangipahoa. All three of those parishes kind of come together just northwest of Folsom. So that's where the rotation is. And so that, let me zoom in a little bit closer. This is it looks like that would be LA 16 that it's going to cross potentially as that hence I'm assuming. Let me back this up. Yeah, that is tracking in the direction of Franklinton. And then here's our other area rotation I note that's east of Folsom. That's also going to be crossing a different section of LA 16 in Washington Parish. So keeping an eye on those. Let's come back into Livingston Parish though, where Jeff was showing you that Sky 9 camera view, and you can clearly see we still have some rotation here now on the north side of Walker between LA 447 and LA 449 right now. That is moving generally off to the east-northeast, so just north of Florida 190, and between LA 447 and 449 we're seeing some rotation. No warning out on it yet, but we're going to have to keep a close eye on it. Let's see if the Weather Service has added anything else. All right. You know, I did mention we have a flash flood warning that had come out as well. Let's give you a look at where that is. So here's a look at our flash flood warning now, encompassing a pretty big area. So that runs through parts of Iberville, West Baton Rouge, East Baton Rouge, Livingston, and St. Helena parishes. Let's see how long that flash flood warning is in effect. That one's going to be in effect until 3:15 for a while. So the Weather Service had noted within that warning, we've already seen 1 to 3 inches of rain, obviously still coming down. And now let's come back to Ascension Parish, too, where we have a tornado warning ongoing. Let's take a look at the velocity on that. So here's our rotation in Ascension Parish. That is approaching I-10 right now, and that would be between, it looks like it's going to cross more than likely I-10 between the Gonzales and Sorrento exits. So that tornado warning is ongoing. Nothing confirmed with that one that I am aware of, but we can certainly make out some radar indicated rotation right now as that tracks towards I-10 here in Ascension Parish. Let's turn on the debris detection, and no obvious debris signature there, which is at least a little bit of good news, but that's not a guarantee. Boy, look, I'm seeing another area rotation now. No, that's the one north of Walker. I apologize, but still multiple areas of rotation. Let's reset on the warnings. Give you a look at what we've got right now. Oh, and these are an upgrade to the tornado warnings. So we've got 2 of these now. One that's around, looks like that one they just pulled down right as I clicked on it. But no, it's there. That must have been a system glitch. I don't know why it's doing that. So this is to upgrade that it's a confirmed tornado as well. All right, so let's that's near the community of Tangipahoa, but let's get a better look. All right, there's your rotation. So there it is, very near the community of Tangipahoa right now, headed east on LA 440 and east of Highway 51 there in Tangipahoa Parish. Now a confirmed tornado with that one on the east side of the community of Tangipahoa. So anybody that's in the east central and northeastern parts of Tangipahoa Parish, this one looks like it's going to stay south of Kentwood. Let me back this up and give you a little idea on the movement. So there you see it's moving up to the northeast, so it'll stay east of Kentwood, but a confirmed tornado according to the National Weather Service now on that one as well. Let's see if the debris signature shows anything obvious. I don't have anything obvious on debris, so they must have gotten a confirmation from somebody at ground level. I'm going to assume that they had observed that tornado. All right, let me do this again. Reset on the warnings because we've got a lot going on. So the shades of red are tornado warnings. The shades of more of that sort of magenta color, those are tornado warnings with confirmed tornadoes here in northern Tangipahoa Parish, another in eastern Tangipahoa Parish that was moving, looked like in the direction of Franklinton and Washington Parish. We're tracking rotation, radar indicated rotation here that looks like it's going to pass just a little bit south of Gonzales in Ascension Parish. We've got a flash flood warning encompassing much of Metro Baton Rouge, so a very busy picture at this hour. Let's come back to the traditional radar view and give you a look at what's happening right now. Of course, my radar is not going to animate now as I try to play that back. Bear with me as we try to get that going. But I can really hear the. Let's take a look at how much rain. So we're up to about 3/4 of an inch of rain here at Channel 9. Most of that's come down here just recently in the last few minutes. So here's a look at the radar animation. All right, another tornado warning rolling in. Let's see what we've got now as these continue to be issued by the National Weather Service. So this tornado warning, there we go. The storm we've been telling you about, we were worried about near Walker and now near and north of Walker and the town of Livingston. The Weather Service has gone ahead and put a tornado warning out on that one. It's going to be in effect until 1 o'clock. So that is just north of the town of Livingston now. It's about to cross LA Highway 63. And that one, I'm going to assume, is based off radar rotation. Let's see what the, radar indicated rotation. Nothing confirmed on it as of yet. We'll switch over to the velocity, though, and give you a look. So there it is. That's the rotation Jeff and I have been telling you about for quite a while now. And indeed, we now have a warning on it. So Jeff was showing you the Sky9 camera in Walker a little while ago. It looked like perhaps we had a lowering from the thunderstorm base. We weren't seeing any funnel or tornado, but a lowering, which can sometimes be the precursor to a tornado, but we're certainly seeing some rotation here. So that's going to be crossing LA 63 north of the town of Livingston. A little bit of good news here is that this is a fairly rural area, but still there are some homes out here. So that's moving up to the northeast. Let's put a track on it and give you an idea of where it may be headed from where it is right now. So as we draw storm track in, that could impact areas near Montpelier. I'm thinking probably a little bit west of Montpelier, but the track has it into Montpelier at about 12:40, 12:45, so another 20 to 25 minutes. Again, I think that's probably going to be a little bit west of Montpelier on LA 16. So that would be another storm crossing between Montpelier and Pine Grove and St. Helena Parish. But radar indicated rotation has now prompted tornado warning. I'm spotting another area rotation. This one looks to be in parts of the city of Baton Rouge. So here you see it. Moving out on, where we're looking at, is that Greenwell Springs? So you can see this rotation now that right in here showing up. So out around Marydale. So Jeff saying Harding, sorry about that. So you can see now here's our rotation right here. That one, we'll keep an eye out and see if we get a warning on it. Let me back it up and see the movement on it. So that's lifting up to the northeast. So that'll move the west side of Central. And then eventually, if something comes of this, that could take it up close to areas around Pride and Baywood. So we do have a rotation right now, just kind of the northeast side of Baton Rouge, west side of Central. We'll be tracking that one closely as it moves up to the northeast as well. So continues to be very active. Every time I move the radar, spot a new area of rotation. Let's take it back down to Ascension, and we can still make out some pretty clear rotation here. So there it is, right along LA 30 and Gonzales right now. That one about to cross airline between Gonzales and Sorrento. So we're tracking that. Nothing confirmed on it that I've seen yet, but we have that rotation. Another warning coming in. Let's see where the radar takes us now, where the warnings take us at this hour. So that would appear to be an update or an extension to the warning on the cell I was just showing you in Ascension. Let's see what the Weather Service has on it. So that's still radar indicated. It's very close to Gonzales, moving off to the northeast at 40 miles per hour. And I'm looking at this. Let me turn the lightning off for a second and make this a little easier to see. But Jeff's pointed out at times some of these appendages. You see the appendage on this one. That is certainly a sign of rotation. Sometimes can be a sign of a tornado. And what's happening here is you get winds that are the inflow into the storm is punching in and creating that notch. And then you've got on the backside what we call the downdraft. And the winds are circling back around. Your tornado, if we have one, would be right in here. So let's zoom in closer on that. That tornado warning is now in effect until 1 o'clock. And so that's right around the intersection of LA 30 and LA 44 here in Gonzales. LA 30, LA 44. That's where we have radar indicated rotation and a tornado warning.
And Steve, we've got a traffic camera on Max 3. If Kirk can either just put it on the wall or pull it up, you can see heavy rain for sure. And at times we've seen just the rain that's already on the surface of the street get pushed really hard by the wind in the area. So this is Airline Highway south of North Burnside Avenue in the Gonzales area. And you can see we're starting to see ponding on the roadway. So certainly flood concerns in addition to the severe weather concerns. But we're trying to pull up some of the traffic cameras as well. We don't have control to move them around, but we're trying to pull up as many as we can to kind of give you an indication of where that strength of that storm is currently located.
All right, yeah, thank you, Jeff. I'm looking at the updated velocity images coming in on that cell right now. So it would indicate it's crossing Airline Highway here on the south side of Gonzales at this hour, just north of where LA 30 meets Airline in Gonzales. That's where we're looking at this rotation. So headed up potentially towards Church Point Road in Gonzales. If you're in that area, watch out, LA 431. This is our area rotation rotation, lifting up to the northeast. We haven't seen anything confirmed, and I will go ahead and show you a minute ago while Jeff was giving you a look at the traffic camera. I went ahead and punched up our debris detection. This is not. There's nothing clear cut here in terms of a debris signature. That's a little bit of good news, but as I mentioned earlier, that is not a guarantee. There's not something. All right, it looks like we've had an extension of the tornado watch, which is not a surprise as well. We told you that would likely be coming. Let's see if we can expand the view out on that. So it looks like all of southeast Louisiana now under a tornado watch, southwest Mississippi. Let's see if we've got the same. Okay, so that's going to run for most of us through 8 o'clock tonight now. That's the update to that. We now have that tornado, a new tornado watch now extending through 8 p.m. this evening. Let's get that out of the way. Let's get back to radar now and give you an updated look at what's going on with some of these storms we're tracking and some of these warnings that we have. Very heavy rain continuing to move through Metro Baton Rouge at this hour as well. Here's our storm in Gonzales, moving up to the northeast. So we're talking about areas between Gonzales, Santa Ma, up towards French Settlement. Watch out for this cell as it moves up to the northeast with some radar indicated rotation. And there it is. There's our circulation now. Looks like it is crossing LA 431 near Church Point Road on the east side of Gonzales. That's where we have that rotation. Again, nothing confirmed on that, but certainly looks like pretty healthy rotation. Let's come back up and I tell you what, this rotation that is near and on the north side of Central looks a bit healthier now too. We don't have a warning on this one, but don't be surprised if we get a warning here for northeastern parts of East Baton Rouge Parish before long. So that one will be headed up in the northeastern parts of EBR, and again, that could eventually put areas, say around Pride, Baywood, under the gun from that cell. Nothing confirmed. Here's our warning in Livingston Parish, the cell we were telling you about. That is our rotation now crossing LA 63 in northern Livingston Parish. That'll be moving up into southern St. Helena. So as I widen the view out a little bit, that should take it a little bit west of Montpelier, crossing LA 16 here before too much longer. We'll back this up and give you a look at the motion. So you can see it'll pass. In fact, I'll loop this. You'll see, watch this as it loops back. We get a jump in the imagery, unfortunately, but it'll move just west of Montpelier, that rotation as well. All right, let me take a peek down the chat and see if we have anything new. Doesn't look like anything new in terms of anything confirmed. New severe thunderstorm warning for St. Tammany at this hour. All right, let's see what else we've got. Another severe thunderstorm warning for St. Tammany, Tangipahoa, Washington till 1 o'clock. Right now, and look at this, seeing some stronger velocity show up again with the cell in northern Livingston Parish. Let's sample those and see what kind of wind speeds. So the radar detecting some wind speeds on the order of 50 miles per hour or so. Again, that's several thousand feet above the ground. We don't know if any of that is making it down to the ground, but suffice to say, certainly up in the storm, some strong winds, and there could be a tornado out of this given the rotation that we're seeing. Here's the other area rotation that we're tracking on the north side of Central right now, not under a warning, but I wouldn't be surprised to get one. Let's take you back down to Ascension Parish now. So here's an updated look at our rotation here. Now moving east of LA 431. It's getting pretty close to French Settlement. Let's see if that's going to move towards French Settlement, maybe crossing the A-meet between French Settlement and Port Vincent. It looks like this area rotation as it moves up to the northeast. This one also, to my knowledge, nothing confirmed on it as of yet, but we've been tracking rotation on it for quite a while now, so that's certainly something to keep an eye on. Let's see what else we can spy. I see good rotation here in Tangipahoa Parish, just east of Natalbany and Tickfaw right now. Let's get the motion on that one. That one also lifting up to the northeast. So that one is east of Highway 51 in Tangipahoa Parish, east of I-55, headed up towards LA 40, it looks like at this hour. So a number of areas of rotation and possible tornadoes right now. Let's see what we've got on an updated look from our warnings. So we give you a look at that. Look at all the tornado warnings we've got. One in Ascension and Livingston. This one from Livingston, St. Helena into Tangipahoa. Confirmed tornado south of Kentwood. Another warning in Washington. Another one St. Tammany into Washington. Another one northern Tangipahoa in the parts of Pike and Walthall counties. One here in northeastern. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tornado warnings ongoing at this hour. Remarkably active, so obviously this is what we were worried about today. New Iberia obviously has been hardest hit so far. For anybody that may be joining us, didn't see the earlier coverage, tornado did move through New Iberia. Do you guys in the back happen to have that video queued up? We do have, actually we've received a couple of videos of that tornado moving through New Iberia. That was a little bit before 11 o'clock this morning. It did do damage in one subdivision we know of. We know the medical center was hit by it. We were told, or the police department in New Iberia reported there were people trapped and rescues were ongoing. So very serious situation. The other warning you'll note, and if we get that video on the back, either one, I sent another one a little while ago, guys. So if we get either of those, please let me know. Okay, yeah, so this is a video I don't think we've shown you yet. Here's a different perspective on that New Iberia tornado. I'm not sure what road or highway this is that it was crossing, but very clearly you can see that one from Mike Ibbert. People obviously stopped as that one crossed the road. This is the one that we believe did some fairly significant damage on the east side of New Iberia. Let me get back to some of that, what we had reported out of New Iberia from a little while ago. So what we had heard, what was reported as of, let's see, this is come in from our Kelly Sanchez around noon. The New Iberia Police Department is reporting the Southport Boulevard subdivision had significant damage. There were people trapped in homes there. The Iberia Medical Center had sustained significant damage. Look at how strong that tornado is, though. That looks to be a pretty healthy tornado as that video continues. My. And it looks like it's getting larger as the video continues. Man, you hate to see that. And if you look closely, you can see some of the smaller scale vortices, the smaller scale rotations rotating within that. All right, I'm being told we do have the New Iberia Police talking about some of the damage. Let's roll that.
This is Captain Leland Lassiter with the New Iberia Police Department. A quick message to the members of the public. We're going to confirm that at least 2 tornadoes have touched down in New Iberia. We do have significant damage in the Southport Boulevard subdivision off of Almodal, and also on the other side of town near Iberia Medical Center. The hospital has sustained a significant amount of damage as well. We do have Acadian Ambulance, State Police, Iberia Parish Sheriff's Office, and our units, and along with the fire department and the ambulance on scene right now. Rescue efforts are underway. We ask that all citizens please avoid the area, stay away from the area. We do have power lines that are down and live across the road and in yards. We have set up a temporary shelter at New Iberia Senior High in the gym. Again, that's New Iberia Senior High gym. We have set up a shelter. Anybody who's displaced, we ask you come to the gym. We have officers and medical staff here standing by. We will update you as we get more updates. Again, all citizens, please avoid the Southport Boulevard area. We do have several units from several agencies on scene. They are rescuing people who are trapped inside of their houses. There is power lines down and live in the area. If you are displaced and have no transportation, you can contact the New Iberia Police Department at 337-369-2306. That's 337-329-2306, and inform the dispatcher, and we will get somebody to transport you to the high school. Again, we have set up a shelter and command post at New Iberia Senior High. That's at the corner of Admiral Doyle and Jefferson Terrace Boulevard.
All right, so there was an update provided by the New Iberia Police Department on some of the damage sustained there. That happened a little before 11 o'clock this morning. Tornado moved on through. I want to update you quickly, and we're going to bring Jeff Morrow back here in just a second. The tornado warning, and let me make sure the Weather Service didn't just reissue it, but the tornado warning for Ascension Parish was canceled. A little bit surprised by that. We're still seeing, although it's starting to move out of the parish, but still seeing pretty good rotation showing up at that cell that's now crossing the Amite River, pretty close to French Settlement. So in those areas, stay alert. That may track up near Frost, south of Livingston. So we'll keep an eye on that one. And I wanted to give you a look at a couple other cells before we kind of hand it over to Jeff. We're still seeing some strong rotation with the one that's moving out of Livingston Parish now into southern St. Helena. So this is going to pass a little bit west of Montpelier, crossing LA 16. But if you're in that area, please take shelter. That one certainly could produce a tornado if it's not already. We're seeing pretty strong rotation here in eastern Tangipahoa Parish, east in Albany. That one is moving away from Highway 51 and I-55 in Tangipahoa Parish, and we've had another area of rotation crossing the state line from Tangipahoa Parish, moving up into Pike County. It's a little bit east of Osika, Mississippi at this hour. So a number of things going on. And then finally, the last area we've been tracking for you that I was telling you about, here's that one in EBR that's going to track pretty close to Pride, it looks like. So no warning out on that at this hour, but stay alert as that could happen. All right, let's go to Jeff Morrow now with more on this ongoing severe weather events.
Yes, Steve, we want to mention that we are broadcasting on our Cumulus radio partners. So if you have to seek shelter for tornado warning, severe thunderstorm warning, you don't have an ability to watch our live stream on our mobile app and things like that, you can bring a hand crank radio, battery-powered radio with you to listen to one of the Cumulus stations in our market, and you can hear our signal being broadcast through that as well. On top of the severe weather threat, we don't want to forget about the flash flooding concerns, which is obviously, for the most part here in the metro area, a street issue, but also towards southwestern Mississippi, where we've had reports of residential flooding in the Crosby area, which is right here at sort of the county border between northern Wilkinson and Amite County. So we've seen very heavy rainfall, persistent heavy rainfall that has been falling through the area, and that too is problematic for us. So as we look at the radar traditional view, you can see that we have a lot of our thunderstorm action right now over top of Metro Baton Rouge and then the eastern half of our viewing area. So things are beginning to settle down for the western half. Not necessarily out of the woods just yet. Tornado watches still remain in place until 1 o'clock for this outlined area here for Lafayette and then into the northwestern corner of our viewing area. But the likelihood that severe weather is going to occur again in those areas, it's not very likely. So it does look like the severe weather window is beginning to close for western sections of our viewing area as the main energy continues to push off towards the east. So we're going to animate this and give you a look at how this is moving along over the last hour or so. And what you'll notice, and let me pull down the menu here, what you'll notice is a lot of this action is beginning to finally nudge its way off towards the east. So that's good news, one, because maybe we can get this severe weather threat out of here soon enough, but two, limit the amount of additional rainfall that we are going to see. But we still have a lot of storms being fed off the Gulf of Mexico, pushing into our coastal parishes and then drifting off towards the northeast. New tornado warning was just issued. That's more than likely for this storm right here, St. Helena Parish, moving into northern Tangipahoa Parish. We're still monitoring a tornado warning here in southern Livingston Parish. That's south of I-12 over towards French Settlement right now. That's moving off towards the northeast. And then we have a few more of these individualized storms that we're going to have to keep an eye on. One in lower St. Martin Parish. That'll be moving towards Assumption Parish here pretty soon. Another one right here in St. John the Baptist Parish. That'll move just west of La Laplace, but it'll be moving over the I-55 corridor, maybe clipping portions of southern Tangipahoa Parish. And then another one right here in western St. Mary Parish near Jeanerette that we're going to have to keep an eye on too. This is the other storm that we've been monitoring in northern East Baton Rouge Parish. That's moving towards Central and Pride right now, moving off towards the northeast. But it looks like for the most part, again, if you live in these areas, West Feliciana Parish, Point Capee Parish, and really northwestern Iberville Parish and most of West Baton Rouge Parish, things are beginning to look better for you at this time. So now let's stop our radar image and give you an idea of where we are dealing with some of these concerns as we zoom in on some of these active warnings that we have right now. So the first one we'll focus in on here in southern Livingston Parish. You can see with the traditional radar view, we have this notch, which sometimes is referred to as a hook echo because it looks like a fishing hook, where we have the inflow of the storm moving in like this, outflow of the storm moving like this. So we have this curvature here, which is the rotation. So let's look at that rotation. We can do that using our velocity signature. You can see that right here, the circulation just to the northeast right now of French Settlement. So that's going to be moving towards Frost and Verdon along Highway 63 here just to the south of Livingston. So that's our first warning that we have right now. So let's zoom out and show you the other warning that we do have currently right now, and that is up here in St. Helena Parish. You can see this is over towards just near Montpelier right now, and that tornado warning in effect until 1 o'clock right now, being radar indicated. So, I pushed the wrong button. Let me go back here, and we'll zoom back in on that particular one here in St. Helena. So again, this is our next sort of hook, and then Montpelier right over top of you. You need to be in your safe space right now. This will be moving off towards the northeast here fairly steadily. So let's put a storm track on it, give you an idea on when this might be arriving in some of our locations here. Let me pull down the menu here. So Montpelier over top of you right now, Hillsdale around 1250, Woodland School around 1252, Arcola 103, Fluker around 107 right now. So again, this is Doppler radar indicated rotation, possibility of a tornado, but certainly nothing confirmed on the ground right now, but really right over top of Montpelier. So one area of concern right there. Let's take another zoomed out perspective, kind of give you another look at some of the outlying areas that we have ongoing warnings. Severe thunderstorm warning remains in place for central and eastern Tangipahoa Parish. That's lifting away from most of the populated areas and will be moving into southwestern Washington Parish. St. Tammany Parish, a heavy thunderstorm right now moving over Covington. That's producing some damaging wind threat and the possibility also of hail. But you look here into Metro Baton Rouge, and we're dealing with more of a consolidated thunderstorm clustering here, but certainly still tracking. We were tracking this one here in the northeast corner of EBR Parish for the possibility of rotation. So let's turn on our velocity signature and see what we're looking at now with that. And yeah, very broad, maybe rotation up here in the very northeast corner of EBR Parish, and a very broad rotation possibly right here just to the northeast of Central. Again, that's moving away from Central. So in the clear right now for you. Also maybe areas around Pride, keep an eye out for that. But you can see where the rotation more indicative here in the Montpelier area just to the northwest of the township itself, moving off towards the northeast. And again, that one until 1 o'clock. So we'll keep the velocity signature on. Look down towards some of our storms down here in Ascension Parish, not seeing anything of big consequence. Certainly this one right here of concern, and that's our new tornado warning. You see here the icon off towards the left-hand side of your screen, and that is telling us that we do have that new tornado warning that was just issued for that particular storm in Livingston Parish. You can see the longer warning right here. That is in effect until 1:30, according to the National Weather Service. So again, the storm itself that's prompting this, making its way just to the northeast of French Settlement right now. Let's put on our velocity signature, give you an idea of where we are seeing that rotation again. It's right here. This is the concerning part that we would be monitoring. Let me highlight that and put that into some perspective here. Let me see if I can get this menu to pull down here. We'll get that to give you a general sense of where we're dealing with the rotation. So it's right in here where you see the reds, that's winds moving away from the radar. Where you see greens, that's winds moving towards the radar. So that's where we're getting that circulation, that indication of possible rotation. So let's pull up our storm track, give you an idea on when we may see some of this action moving towards eastern sections of Livingston Parish and then southern sections of Tangipahoa Parish. So Frost, pretty much 5 minutes from now, Carter Plantation, which is in the Springfield area, around 105. Albany Middle School around 110. Albany itself, 111. Baptist around 115. Pumpkin Center pretty much your same time with Baptist as well. The VA Hospital around 119. That's over in the Hammond area. And then 122 for Hammond itself, the city's center. So that's if this circulation were to hold together as it makes its way into southern Tangipahoa Parish, where the warning is in effect until 1:30. So if you are under a warning, let's go back to that and give you an idea of what you need to be doing and where you need to be going. And your safe space is the most interior portion of your home. You want to put as many walls between you and the exterior of your house. You want to get away from windows, and you want to seek shelter in the lowest part of your home. So if you have a multi-level home, you want to get down on the lowest level. If you're in an apartment complex and they have a safe room for you on the lower level, you want to get to that. If they don't have a place for you to go on the lower level, then you want to try and get to the centermost portion of whatever level you are on. That includes office buildings as well. Be away from windows and cover your head. If you're in a mobile home, you want to try and get out and find sturdier shelter. Some brick and mortar foundation home or business is ideal, and find out where they go in terms of their shelters in place. Here's a look at the future cast, and let's roll through this and give you an idea of where we're expecting a lot of this thunderstorm action to continue to move. So you see the individualized thunderstorm aspect that it's picking up on. A lot of that is going to stay east of this main line that's going to try and continue to consolidate and come together. So here we are around 1 o'clock, and you can see dealing with some of that shower and thunderstorm action, and it may break up a little bit and become individualized once again into our eastern sections as we go towards 2 o'clock. So roughly about an hour and a half from now, we're still dealing with a lot of this action in eastern sections of our viewing area, maybe settling down though for us here in Baton Rouge Metro towards the south. Also still seeing those storms feed in off the Gulf of Mexico. Here we are at 3. You can see more of these showers and thunderstorms moving through far eastern sections of our viewing area. So maybe, according to future radar, by the time we head towards 4 o'clock, starting to exit our viewing area, more of an issue for New Orleans, Slidell, into southern Mississippi as this system continues to slowly work its way off towards the east. Steve Caparata says he's got something to talk about, I think. So let's head back over to him in the Weather Center.
Thanks, Jeff. I wanted to circle back to that tornado warning you were talking about in Livingston Parish right now, which looks like it's just south of maybe Frost. We're getting some updates from the National Weather Service, so kind of delayed reports, but they're saying there was a confirmed tornado touchdown earlier, about a half hour or so ago, west of Donaldsonville from the same cell. So let me broaden the view and back this up a little bit, and let's see if we can track that on the velocity data as I back this up in time. So yeah, so, okay, so and we had a warning come out about this time as a cell. The rotation was showing up west of Donaldsonville, but the Weather Service is reporting that there was a touchdown. Now, let me advance this a little more and pass along a little more information. So, as it got a little farther into Ascension Parish, let me pull up the name again. We had a report, on Twitter from Stephanie that she was seeing power flashes looking south from Dutchtown from that same storm, which would indicate at minimum some strong winds coming through, and quite possibly there may have still been a tornado on the ground as this was moving north of Donaldsonville and crossing I-10 here between Gonzales and Sorrento. So I was a little surprised. I mentioned to you a little while ago when they let that warning expire as it was crossing the Amite River, and now we see it has returned, and we're still seeing pretty significant rotation with this one now just east of LA 63, so south of Livingston down around Frost. So that one looks like, let me see, I think this might go a little bit north of Springfield, but let's keep an eye on it. Yeah, that'll probably track, it's going to be close, probably a little bit north of Springfield, but I'm going to head up close to Albany and Holden if it holds together. So especially in those areas in eastern Livingston Parish, watch out for this cell, which we now know has a history of producing a tornado. We did also get reports of power outages in parts of Walker from Wesley Wolf, and some fire department personnel in St. Tammany Parish reporting what they are saying may be some significant damage east of Folsom. Remember, we had on either side of Folsom a little while ago 2 separate circulations we were tracking. So starting to get some more information rolling in. Sounds like maybe some more damage as well. Jeff?
I'm keeping an eye on storms to our southwest. So I'll walk over to the wall here.
Sorry, I thought you were still over there. That's my
all right.
fault.
No, you can't. You don't have eyes in the back of your head. You can't see. It's okay. So I'm keeping an eye. Here's where we have the active warnings up here, eastern portion of our area, northeast of Baton Rouge as well. We're keeping our eyes to the southwest because we're still getting storms coming in out of the Gulf of Mexico right now. So we've got some evidence of maybe some circulation here in St. Mary Parish. That would be moving pretty close to areas near Baldwin and Morgan City, or is that Berwick? That's just west of Morgan City. I forget whether that's Baldwin or Berwick. That's going to be pretty close to you as that moves off towards the northeast again. No active warnings with these as of yet, but certainly something we'll be keeping a close eye on. Another maybe broad rotation here may be moving its way back through Ascension Parish. So this would be moving out of Assumption Parish into Ascension Parish, near where we had what is now a confirmed tornado, or at least a spotted report of a tornado that was recorded just to the southwest of Donaldsonville. So maybe moving over a similar area where we have some possible circulation and rotation. And then another one right here just into the upper St. Martin, Iberia Parish border. That'll be moving into Iberville Parish. So that could be tracking pretty close to the White Castle and Plaquemines area. So some of these areas that we're going to be keeping an eye on for developing storms that could potentially rotate. That's one of the concerns that we're going to have. But all the active warnings right now are certainly up towards the north right now, and certainly some very significant rotation that you're looking at right now, Steve, over in Livingston Parish. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. So this is just south of LA 42 at this hour, lifting up to the northeast. This is the one that we know has now, we found out just in the last few minutes, does have a history of producing at least one tornado touchdown west of Donaldsonville. I suspect it may have been on the ground a bit longer, even as it tracked maybe just south or near and just south of Gonzales as it crossed I-10. We're going to be speaking with somebody with the Ascension Parish Sheriff's Office soon, who hopefully will be able to give a little more information about what they're seeing down that way. But right now, this area of rotation just south of 42, headed towards LA 441. What is that? 441, is that Albany, the exit up that way, and off of I-12 in eastern Livingston Parish? So if you're in those areas, that's a little bit northwest of Killian and Springfield.
That's the Holden exit.
The Holden exit, right. Thank you, Jeff. So, yes, that tracks up to the northeast. Watch out for that one. I was looking, and I'll show you here. We have the debris detection. So what we look for here is, first we look at that velocity product, where we see the red and the green together, right? I think most of you have seen these long enough to understand that. This is a simplified way of looking at it, but this tells us there's some rotation. So if we focus right there, and then we switch over to the debris product, we're looking for essentially what would be some shades of yellow, green. We see a little bit of yellow here, but that's not co-located with where the rotation is right now. So I don't have an obvious debris signature on radar. That would tell us there would be if we saw yellow, greens, whites showing up. But right now, with it being kind of all red where that rotation is showing up, basically what that's the radar detecting is, it can actually tell us the size and shape of the objects that it's bouncing off of. And if those objects that the radar beam is bouncing off of are kind of uniform in shape, that tells us most likely it's just rain. So right now the radar is seeing mostly rain, but we are seeing some strong rotation. We're going to go back to Jeff now.
Yeah, so, you look at the broader perspective, and definitely we're dealing with the heavier storm threat east of Baton Rouge right now, and that is where we're focusing a lot of our attention on, and rightfully so. You can see things are starting to settle down here for the Metro Baton Rouge area. I think really where you see these clusterings of thunderstorms, if you're west of those, really settling down for you. But we still have some of these individualized storms that are going to continue to move off towards the east-northeast. We've got the one right here, as I mentioned, in Iberia and Upper St. Martin Parish. A couple of this is beginning to muddy up. It's beginning to merge a little bit into maybe one big storm cluster here in Ascension and Livingston Parish. It's going to be very hard to see anything that would be headed your way because what we call rain wrapping. So that is certainly something to be monitoring and keeping an eye on. And then we have these individualized storms well out ahead of this clustering that's trying to form. And it's these that we were really worried about, as they're called supercells. It's just naturally rotating thunderstorms due to wind shear in the environment. So heavy rainfall still also also an issue that could result in roadway flooding for sure within the metro areas and some of our surrounding parishes. So if you don't have to be out on the roads at all here around lunchtime and shortly hereafter, probably best to do that. Don't go around sightseeing, trying to find damage or anything like that. Leave that to the professionals, leave that to the experts that are going to be out and about looking at all this action. So again, let me pull that back off and show you the motion here of how things are kind of moving. And you can see it does look like things are beginning to push off towards the east, and northeast of us is where we're dealing with it. So let's focus in here on Ascension Parish again, because we do have some action that's certainly moving through the parish right now. You can see very heavy rainfall right now making its way through portions of Ascension Parish, and that in itself is probably going to be causing some additional road flooding on top of what they've already seen. We look at the velocity signature. We do have some broad circulation here around the Gonzales area, and then another one maybe here around the Donaldsonville area. We're going to check in with our Liz Coe now. She's got some people over in Ascension Parish with an update for us. Liz.
That's right, Jeff. We're checking in with Donovan Jackson. He's the Public Information Officer with the Ascension Parish Sheriff's Office. And Donovan joins me now by phone. Donovan, do I have you here?
Yes, you do. How are you, Liz?
Hey, I'm doing all right, Donovan. So I just saw that you guys posted on the Ascension Parish Sheriff's Facebook page that your dispatchers are ready to take the calls. What are some of those calls that you guys are getting right now?
So actually right now, we have not gotten any calls of any reports or damage or anything at this time. But again, our dispatchers are here 24 hours a day. No matter what the storm situation is, they're going to be here to answer those calls. But again, the good news is we have not gotten any calls of any damage or anything. We've been in constant contact with the Office of Emergency Preparedness. And they've let us know also that there's no confirmed touchdowns of any tornadoes or any reported damage. So right now we're just dealing with a lot of rain and a lot of wind. We're getting some of those alerts on the phone, but we are keeping steadfast and ready just in case any emergency situation from this weather happens.
Yeah, and Donovan, we're actually showing folks right now a traffic camera there at 61 on Burnside. Jeff was mentioning that the heavy rainfall that's moving through portions of Ascension Parish right now in Gonzales, Donaldsonville, and the Sorrento. Have you heard anything about the LA 30 area crossing Sorrento? Any calls about anything from neighbors maybe or business owners?
Again, we have not gotten any calls. I'm in this dispatch center right now, and we haven't gotten any calls from any damage or any reported situations. So we're ready to accept those calls or take it because the weather has picked up and it is looking kind of rough, and we're not unexpected to it. But right now, we haven't received any of those things. So we're kind of just, again, keeping ready just in case those calls or when those calls do come through. I know in a few areas there's some power outages, and, I make the assumption that it is due to some of the inclement weather, but that's mostly the only thing that we're dealing with right now. But again, we haven't had any calls really come in reporting any damage from this storm just yet, which is some good news for now, at least.
It certainly is, Donovan. And if we could pop that traffic camera up again one more time, you can see as folks drive through the area, Donovan, just to let you know, it's folks there, US 61 at Burnside. You can see puddles of water as cars are driving fairly quickly through the area. And Steve is joining me now here. Do you have any questions for Donovan?
Yeah, hey, Donovan, it's Steve. I wanted to ask you quickly. The National Weather Service a little while ago said they had received reports of a tornado touchdown west of Donaldsonville a little while ago, but from what what I'm gathering here, are you saying you have nothing confirmed yet that you know of?
We have nothing confirmed, and again, we're keeping in touch with Office of Emergency Preparedness in Ascension, which also communicates with the National Weather Service, and it may be near or close to Donaldsonville, but it may not be specifically in Ascension Parish. So we haven't gotten any reported phone calls of or reporters of damage or tornadoes here, or at least not confirmed from Office of Emergency Preparedness. Now, we have gotten some folks that said that they may have seen something, but right now it's just kind of a little bit of, he said, she said right now. So it's not confirmed from Office of Emergency Preparedness that we've had an actual reported storm touchdown here in Ascension just yet.
Fair enough. And look, I think we all understand, too, it's early. And these things sometimes take a while to come to light. And on top of that, especially in Ascension where you are, storms are ongoing. So it's kind of hard to assess what's going on right now. But to your point, that storm did originate in northern Assumption, too. So maybe that was the source of it. But appreciate all that you guys are doing. And thanks for keeping us updated.
No problem. We appreciate it. And we just want to tell our viewers at home, even if there's not anything confirmed just yet, just act as if it is, just in case, because things can change quickly, as you said. So we're going to make sure that we're here and ready to respond to any emergency situation.
And Donovan, before I let you go, I do have one quick question. Are there any roads that are blocked off right now or in anticipation of any road flooding right now?
I know that we don't have any roads blocked off necessarily right now. I know that possibly some hot spot areas, and we'll look into it. I can't confirm any roads that are flooded right now, but I know that we don't have any roads blocked off specifically due to the storm right now. But I will kind of keep you all updated. I also posted on our Facebook as well, and it's just kind of keeping folks updated on what decisions we have to make due to the storm.
Okay, Donovan, we appreciate you and the deputies there in Ascension Parish. We'll check in with you
Definitely.
later on today.
Okay, thank you.
Right now, let's get in with Dion Guillory in the First Alert Center with an update on power outages and some photos and video of what the storm is leaving behind. Dion?
Yeah, Liz, lots of updates coming in, lots of pictures, lots of video. As this storm moves through and continues to go forward, a lot of this is coming in, especially from viewers like you. So thank you guys for taking the time and being safe while you're doing that. But big update I want to give you right now that we just learned from New Iberia. They're saying that everyone who is trapped in the Southport subdivision has been rescued. No deaths have been reported at this time, and there are people being treated for injury. So that's the update from there, because we've shown you video of the tornado or the possible tornado that went through there, and also some of the damage left behind. I'm going to get to that a little further with some new pictures of that in just a second. But I want to explain this to you as well. Something else that just came in is that there's high water that's been reported at Scenic Highway at 72nd Avenue. I want to give you a closer idea of exactly where this is on this map. You can see right here is that intersection. So this yellow strip here, if you can look at it, that's Scenic Highway, and this is 76. If you're very familiar with this area, you'll know that this is a pretty low-lying area coming off of 190. And so right here, when you're getting off of 190, that area floods very easily. So there's a lot of standing water there. So with what's coming through, I'm typically not surprised that this is has some reports of water on the road. So that is not too surprising to me that's something that we're dealing with. So that we also have a crew heading to that scene at this moment to show you pictures of that. Okay. Talking about pictures and images and videos, let's take a look at this. Haley Beto allowed us permission to look at this video. Apparently, this is what's believed to be a tornado. This is behind the Ollies in New Iberia. She posted this within the last hour. Something else I want to show you is some pictures from Brandy Owens. You can see the damage to some buildings here. It looks like a house and some trees falling on the buildings there. Also, another picture, look at the roof here. You can see just how the wind or whatever the system was just pulled that up, and you can see you can look inside this home here because of that. A garbage can just blown off to the side and some other things in the front yard here. Also another image of the same house with that damage there. You can see that. And also some siding in between these two buildings here, more the wind. That just shows you how strong that wind was at this time. This is the medical center that we were telling you about earlier. You can see some of the damage here, the windows just busted out, and even look at this, a car with a window broken there. Someone had to put a towel in order to keep the rainwater from going in their car. So that's what's happening there. And also a video and pictures of them driving through the rain and emergency crews coming through. And look at this. What looks to be maybe a 18-wheeler or a camper possibly tossed on top of a truck. That damage there. And here you can see a power line there as well. Knocked down because of that, the wind there. Also, take a look at this home here, damaged from the roof there, this tree, and just what looks like siding and possibly insulation from inside the home just being thrown all about, and a power pole here just on the ground there. So a lot of damage here, and you can see that camper falling on that top of that truck again. So be patient with me and take a little walk with me, because we're going to make a move here. Technology, and we like to play with it sometimes. You can see this is a live picture of Acadian here in Baton Rouge. We all know this low-lying area. That's always a concern when we have issues like this with the weather, but so far, so good here. So hopefully keep our fingers crossed that it stays that way. So something else I want to show you, this is the map that I just showed you a moment ago about where that water was, but I want to show you some more pictures. This is from Stacy Batiste. This is more pictures and images from New Iberia, where you can see in the distance that building destroyed and heavily damaged by whatever came through the area, whatever that was. If it was a tornado, we'll eventually find out a confirmation within a day or two from the National Weather Service about that. Also, here's another building with some damage to it on the side. You can see the roof. You can just see right through it from what the damage is that's left behind here. Also, take a look at this. This building here, the window here just hit hard by the wind, and I'll just bust it out. And take a look at this. All on the ground here, this car. Can't really see any damage on the car, but I'm sure there's some damage there. Something else I want to show you is this. Power outages. We talked about power outages, and bear with me, we're going to go ahead and do a quick reset on this web page. This is poweroutage.us. It's a great tool for trying to figure out what is where the power outages are, and big portion of it in Iberia Parish. Look at that. More than 2,600 customers are without power right now. And in Vermilion Parish, more than 1,000 customers are without power. And you can see some other areas still have some power outages. Tangipahoa with more than 1,300. Ascension, just 200 right now. And East Baton Rouge, a little more than 1,200. And so as this continues to pick up, we see that some of these power outages are going to increase. But we saw that those areas and the images that are coming in, still coming in, showing just how the storm, if it's a tornado or whatever it is coming through, leaving behind a lot of damage. All right, so we are talking about the water that was on the ground on the road there at Scenic Highway and 72nd. I believe that we've got Callie Hubbard, who is out there in Titan 9 with a look at that. Callie, we're going to send things over to you, Liz.
Dion, thank you for that update from the Alert Center. As Dion mentioned, Callie Hubbard is riding around in Titan 9, getting us a live look at the roads. And Callie, tell us where you are right now and what it looks like.
Well, hey, Liz, we've been all around Baton Rouge in the past hour or so. We started off on Nicholson Drive going toward LSU when we got that heavy downpour rain coming to our area, and then we kind of worked our way around. But this is the biggest problem area that we are seeing right now, so I'm going to do our roof cam here in Titan 9, and as you can see, there's a lot of water that is built up over here on Airline Highway and Scenic Highway here. I saw a lady that was actually walking across the water, and the water was actually up to her knees. So as you can see, the water's kind of piled up, and DOTD actually has the road here, the intersection, blocked off, so people are not able to drive through at this time. So, of course, we'll bring you the very latest. If we pan here, you can see the rest of the DOTD truck there. But that's kind of the biggest problem area that we are seeing here locally. Of course, checking in on those problem areas like Burbank by Walk-Ons. We didn't really see any flooding over in that area. But, of course, we'll continue to keep the latest. Liz, we're going to send things back to you.
That was Callie Hubbard reporting in Titan 9. You said she was on a stretch of Scenic Highway, and we've just heard from the East Baton Rouge Mayor's office, their MOSEP office, at the road closure, Scenic Highway at 72nd Avenue. There's some water on the roadway there. We may send a crew over to see just how much it's blocked off right now or how bad it is. There's another road closure at Chippewa Street between Lockwood Avenue and Phlox Avenue. Again, these are two road closures in the East Baton Rouge Parish area, and we're going to continue to monitor those. In the meantime, let's check in with Jeff Morrow and Dr. Steve Caparata.